Hi everyone, and welcome to my Mythic Mother God. Now there's two different tanks in this fight. I'm the main tank. I keep Mother the entire time. The off tank will run through the bear and tank all the little oozes. Um, if you're the ooze tank, honestly, like that's a really easy job. You don't need to do anything special. Focus on AoE damage. So let's go ahead and look at my talents I use for this fight. First, I use Abyssal Strike. This is great for movement and for damage when we AoE. Fallout is go-to is for the souls. Once you possible soul popping when you use Immolation Aura. We have Flame Crash for the AoE damage. We have Fracture. Now, I use Fracture. You might find that you actually need Feed the Demon as the main tank. Honestly, I didn't need it. There's a huge change of mentality for healers coming into this X-Pack that they have to get used to, is that you have to be babysat as a tank. Now if your healers understand that, for the most part, you can probably get away with using Fracture. To me, Fracture is just more fun to use, and I can't stand using Feed the Demon. I will use it probably unfetted in maybe another fight or two, but for the time being, I got away with Fracture. I didn't really notice an issue. I had Sigil Chains on for the ads in last chamber. I think I used it. I should have used it. Got a little hectic. If you don't do that, then Concentrated Sigil is better for a little more damage. Spear Bomb, 100% is a go-to. This one I use Soul Barrier. I use Soul Barrier for literally everything so far. Last Resort can be used if you're worried about dying, which there really isn't a lot of places here where you're going to die by burst damage unless you screw up and maybe hit a laser beam or several people run through the portal when you get smacked, or not the portal but the barrier. Void River is just the weaker of the three options here. It could be used if you want to. Honestly, I think Soul Bear is the best talent here for most things, so you'll see me using this a lot. Azrai, I haven't got really that many pieces of Azrai gear. For this fight, I had Rigid Carapace, Shimmering Haven. I'll probably switch that to something. Maybe not. Gem Hide, Thunderous Blast, Shimmering Haven, Gem Hide, and then this one is Cycle Binding. Even though I'm not using it, it's my best item level piece. Crystalline Carapace, and I don't have 25 points in my neck yet. I only have 22. Excuse me. Trinkets wise, I was using a Guild Caller's Boon and Fathoms, and then I'm just going haste and everything. Item level first and haste. So let's go ahead and take a look at the guide. Alright, so here is the guide. Now there's several ways to do this. There's a few. The strategy that we use is actually really funny, and it's kind of fun. So there's a few things that to keep in mind here. The hardest parts of this fight is getting everybody through this barrier and nobody dying. That's the hardest part. The second point is you do double damage to Mother in the last chamber. And the other thing that we had issues with, and I know other people had issues with as well, is when you send over just a handful of people at first, and it goes in the second chamber, we wiped a lot due to just not enough people over there to interrupt or stun. So we had an idea, and it works, and it's kind of fun, where we'll send 10 people, half a raid, through the first barrier at the same time. And then we'll trickle everybody else over. And then we'll send every single person through the last barrier. Now this kill here is messy, I'm not going to lie to you. We had other attempts that actually went a lot better, but we lost people early in the fight, which made this strategy not as easy to pull off. But I'm going to show it to you and walk you through it. So there we are on pull. I'm going to tank her right in the middle of the room. I'm going to bait my boon collar so I can stand in it the entire time. This is really loud. Let me turn this down. Alright, so she does this, what's it called? Sanitizing strike in front of her, so you just don't get hit by it. So I'm going to bait her to shoot it this way so I can stay in my boon collar over here. Now, by the way, boon collar is not the best strength for this fight because there's a lot of movement, but I didn't change it. So she has 10,000 strike, and then the fire. As soon as the fire appears, everybody runs and stands next to the barrier. As quickly as we can, we get all grouped up. And what we're going to do here is we're going to drop everything. We're going to drop a spirit link, a barrier. Everybody's going to use personals when they run through. So we're just stacking a mass amount of cooldowns. That way when people run through, we are still linked on both sides. We're still on barrier on both sides. And we survive. So we're sending 10 people, the first group and the second group. So here they go through. People drop low, but nobody dies. We good. And we pull back. So right now, half the raid's over here and half the raid's over here. What this does is, now any ads that spawn, it's going to be super easy to keep them CC'd and just killed. It's not a big deal. And then I'm just going to bring it back into the room, watch the fire, with the wind that trying to blow in fire. So just don't be in front of her. I try to keep her in the middle of the room at all times here. Oh, by the way, you can see this here. They group them up and they have a AoE rotation, a stun rotation, and they're using the Boomkin's silence as well, and they just nuke them all down super fast. That's all they're doing over there. And once these are dead, the tank over there is going to start calling 3 people at a time to go over until it's just me and 2 healers. So at this point, I'm going to tank her in the middle. Alright, so now you see they're dead, and he's going to start calling people.
3, 2, 1.
So sanitizing strike.
2, 1.
Beware.
Alright, as you see, they went over here now, 3 at a time. We're going to keep sending more and more people. We want everybody in the 3rd chamber as quickly as possible. So, honestly, this is just a bunch of rinse and repeat. Don't get in the fire, die, sanitize, and strike.
2, 3, 2.
We're sending everybody else over.
Beware.
So at this point, the chamber's at 67 energy. If it gets to 100, you die. So everybody has to be in the 2nd chamber by then. Right now it's just these 5 people. The last 2 people are going over now. So it's just me and 2 healers. You always want to keep it you and 2 healers, the last 3 people to go over.
3, 2, 1.
So what I'm trying to do now, just so you know, is I'm trying to bait out and not run over until after the next winds, because that way we're not trying to deal with the ads as the wind is blowing us around. So right now I'm trying to bait out the next wind, which is in 2 seconds before we go over.
2, 1. 2, 1.
Yeah.
Beware.
So the healers are positioning themselves because sometimes this wind doesn't finish before the chamber goes crazy. I don't know the timing, why it's different sometimes. So they're ready to run across. Even if the winds isn't done yet, they're going to go. And I can just jump through it whenever I want. Alright, so the wind stopped. We're going to come over.
3, 2, 1.
I'm going to face her away from the raid for sanitizing strike. Should be coming in a second. There it is. And then we're going to group these up and AoE them down quickly. We're going to keep them stunned. Now, laser beams are coming. How this works in Mythic is you have these side beams and the top beams at the same time. Now, all you have to worry about is dodging the side beams first. You have time, because these will come through first, and then these will drop down. So I look to see where they are. I'm going to position, let them come through. Now, the positioning here is imperative, because there are some crazy overlaps that you can get based on timing when you bring Mother back and forth. You can get the fire underneath you to spawn when you're standing in these beams. So to mitigate that is we all stay grouped up. That way, if the fire comes, we can just walk out. The only thing to watch out for is the timing of sanitizing and strike. So if she does it, you just sidestep anyways.
Beware.
See, our off tank got clipped by the laser beams and died. This is why it gets messy, by the way. So the last transition is going to look crazy bad because we were missing 2 people who has a nether walk and a tank. So when we split the damage via Spirit Link, it's going to be a lot worse than it should be. So by the way, Demon Hunter should use nether walk for the last one, and Paladin should use bubbles and anything that's immunities. Ice blocks. And you're going to see why in a minute. So here what we're doing now is we need to bait out our 3-minute cooldowns. That was bad. You should not ever get hit by that, and I did. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to bait out our 3-minute cooldowns. So we use all the 3-minute cooldowns right here to get through. Now we need to make sure they're back up so we can do it one more time. So rinse and repeat, dodge, strike, dodge beams, dodge fire. And do as much damage as we can to her.
2, 1.
Alright, so first things first, you want to dodge the side beams. You don't care about this, you care about the side beams first. Now you all stack up just in case the fire overlaps, because it has before in different pulls. We're good, get out. It's nothing special, it just repeats, so.
1.
Alright, we should, I think we can already do it after this. Alright, yeah, here we go. So we all stack up again. Now what we should be doing here is you need to use every single personal cooldown, and that goes for every single person. Like druids should be going in bear form and crossing, people should be using bark skin, people should be using, the warlock should be using their damage mitigation. Holy priest should put guardian spear on themselves. Should be using pain suppression, should be using every single thing. May just go over an ice block, but you need to stay in the barrier and in the spirit link. Again, more people die than we have in the past, simply because we're missing 2 big mitigators here. Because if we didn't screw up, everybody would be alive. So we're going to group up. I'm going to call for everything. I'm going to pop meta. Yeah, I did. Good. So I'm going to pop meta. I use a stamina potion to get my life up even higher to help everybody else out. And you're going to use a health stone and go through. Now you should be staying in link. And in barrier, we lost like 4 people. We shouldn't have. But we're going to have a better res. We also use a totem, a res totem as well. Like we've lost 3 people, and we've had 2 better reses and a link totem, so it normally works out well. It's just bad pull. Here we bloodlust when we get to the other side, do the double damage. All the ads are coming, all of them. Here they are. So keep in mind the viral contagion or the healing ads. They put a dot on people that does massive amount of damage. If they die or it gets dispelled, it jumps to anybody within 10 yards. Ideally, you never have to deal with that if you stun lock it down and kill it. If you do get it, that person has to run out and call for a dispel. And then the tanking ones will buff the damage of everything else around it, and then the other ads, the DPS ads, are the ones from Heroic that you just have to interrupt. None of that matters when you just bloodlust, stun them, and kill them all instantly. I'm going to group them together, and they're all dead. Except the tank one.
3, 2, 1.
So this is about just burning her, doing double damage, and just dodging everything else. I know a lot of other guilds will stagger people through, but we found this to be the best strat for us because we can skip over all the hard parts and make it simple. And everything that we were wiping to is now mitigated because we sent 10 people through, or the entire raid. So no cast to ever get off. So dodge side beams and dodge top beams.
3, 2, 1.
Beware.
And as you can see, we were down 5, 6, 7 people, 6 people, and we still kill it. You just have to kill her before the chamber hits 100 energy or everybody's dead.
3, 2, 1.
And again, 10% is all you need to kill her.
Beware.
Yeah, but Gale the Boomcaller, probably not the best one here because I'm not in it as much. I should have switched to like a plumage or maybe even, I hate to say this because I hate the trinket, but a blockades. Blockades just doesn't do enough healing over the course of a fight, and the stamina is just not really a big deal ever. And that's it. That is the fight. Like I said, we found the strat to be easier. You can always just stagger it. We've staggered it. We did decently well staggering it. But we always wipe to stupid shit that the snow just mitigates. So that's our strat. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And thank you for watching.